Look at this. One should always have this kind of boost intro to start a presentation, right? So thank you to Tanya Wehoff and the Co crew for this awesome trailer to kick off my session with. Because as Daniel say, now we're going to talk about how Copilot can make you the office superstar. And if I got a dime or a cent or a Swedish öre every time I said Copilot, I would be a complete millionaire. So I'm so looking forward to if we could call it something else in the future, right? But it will be Copilot for us, and that's okay. Maybe we can rename it to Clippy. I don't know. But who am I standing here speaking? Well, my name is Caroline, and I'm a passionate user adoption advocate around the whole Microsoft 365 platform. And when I see an end user smile from ear to ear when they realize the potential in a tool, or when they write their first prompt that actually helps them, and they realize the potential of Copilot or any other tool feature in Microsoft 365, it is for those moments I live. I mean, the goosebumps I get, that is what fuels me up. And since my aim is to help people work smarter within the digital workspace and not harder, I'm also an organizer of Sweden's community-based conference Teamsdagen, along with Amanda, who's here, even though she's unknown to me. I saw that you were here. And I'm also a co-creator of a Swedish community named Copilot and Company, because number 2 of moments I cherish, it is these kind of moments. When we meet up, we geek out with our most loved apps and tools, and we share our knowledge, because it's so much power in collecting people with almost the same interest and to share our knowledge, right? And besides all these community things I do, for example, here, and Daniel mentioned the Cloud Tech Tallinn conference, and I'm also going to Comsverse in June. I'm also blessed, because to be able to do this, I'm blessed with an understanding employer, XB, who encouraged me to participate in community activities, which I am forever grateful for. But the agenda for today will be really simple. This is pure tips and tricks session, okay? To hopefully get you inspired to try something new with your Copilot, to give you ideas of how Copilot can help you become true office superstars. And feel free to print screen throughout the presentation, or contact me. I haven't prepared these kind of fancy links yet, so that you can download the presentation yourself. So please just send me a DM on LinkedIn, and I will make sure that you get the presentation. And to be able to make you office superstars, we're going to start with a me, or with a you. And why? Well, because if we're constantly overwhelmed and stressed out, we can't be office superstars. And you all know what the flight attendant says: first give yourself oxygen in order to help someone else. So we're going to look through some prompts and tips to how Copilot can help you first. And after that, we're going to strengthen the we, meaning that we're going to look into some cases where Copilot can help us strengthen team bonds, how we can be smarter together. And lastly, we can fine-tune. When we've gotten everything this in order, we can fine-tune, and I will give you some prompts and tips that will help you stand out as the office superstar. And what is an office superstar? Well, according to me, and since this is my session, but according to this session, an office superstar is the thoughtful teammate that always delivers, and mostly with a smile on their face. Someone you can really rely on, and someone that you always pick first when you get to choose for, I don't know, soccer practice or whatever you're doing. So that is the one I want to try to give you some tools so you can be. And if you've seen any of my other sessions, or if you follow me on LinkedIn beforehand, you might know that I like to involve neuroscience into my sessions, and this time is no difference. But something new is that I want to introduce you to my Copilot, my money penny, or Aya, as she likes to call herself. She will take on many roles in this session to show you how she can help us. And the story about Aya is that after I've been referring to my Copilot as a he several times, my 2 daughters at home got irritated and said, "Why do you refer to your assistant as a he? How come she isn't a she?" So I tried to give Copilot a name, or I asked Copilot to name herself, and I also asked her to create this picture of herself. So this is Aya. So I will refer to Copilot as Aya sometimes in this presentation as well. And I've also have a lot of stickers with Aya on, and now this is not a physical conference, so I can't hand it out, but if you meet somewhere around the world at a conference, please let me know and I will give you a sticker, because what Aya can do, if you put her on your computer, it's not a magical sticker, but she can remind you that you should turn to Copilot or Aya instead of going into your old ways of working. Because you know that our brains, as Peter's talked about habits, we need to make it a habit to use Copilot. So a sticker on the computer could be the way to solve this. Okay, now time to start. We're going to start with the me. So the first area and how Aya helps me to help me. Well, to get anything done, we need to get a handle on our notifications. Because did you know that some studies claim that we lose up to 2 hours a day in lost productivity because we're constantly disturbed by notifications? And this is completely natural because historically we've been fed and found food when dopamine is triggered. So that is why we want to see what happens as soon as we get a notification. It's our brain that works in those ways. But now we get so much dopamine everywhere. So we need to help our brains to be able to focus. So my advice is to drastically minimize notifications, turn them off in emails, turn off getting disturbed by likes in Teams, okay? I'm very pro emojis, but do I really need a thumb? Do I really need to be disturbed for a thumbs up? No. Not really. And also make sure that you're not disturbed in the evenings or weekends by Teams on your mobile, because there is a function in your mobile app that's called Quiet Days and Quiet Hours, in where you can tell Teams and Outlook to don't send through any notifications when you're free from work. And was this too much information with too little visual aid for you to remember? Well, the good news is that you don't need to remember, because we have an expert or friend in Microsoft 365 that can help you adjust your notifications depending on your needs with the help of this prompt. So when you come back to work, ask Copilot or Aya to be your distraction bouncer. So this is a prompt. Help me optimize Microsoft 365 notifications. And we know that we're all different. We like to have it in different kinds of ways. Therefore, I've added into this prompt that she should ask us 3 questions about my work style. And based on my answers, pick one strategy. If I'm the minimalist, the prioritizer, time blocker, or consolidator. And then I ask her to give me step-by-step instructions to configure notifications in Teams, Outlook, and Planner, and end with a summary and tips for maintaining focus. So this is exactly what this what this prompt does. And this is a little walkthrough, of course, sped up. So first we get the first question. How do you feel about interruptions? And I say that it breaks my focus. Second question, how would you describe the current project load? And I say it's a heavy project load, because no one will ever say that they have too little to do, right? They won't even lie to their Copilot or the IS. And then I'll get the step-by-step configuration. So what this does when you've gone through all these steps is that it saves you some focus time, and we have decreased our urge to act on the dopamine we get when we get a little notification going on. The next thing that she can help you to handle your things is to be our own assistant. And this is a feature that many of us has longed for, and that has been available in the consumer version of Copilot for a while, but now we can finally talk to Aya as if she was a normal assistant. She can't make you coffee just yet, but with co-work, I guess that's only moments away. But how do we start to talk to her? Well, first of all, I found it best to do it in my phone on my way between meetings or after meetings or walking the dog or whatever. So first of all, you have to make sure that you download the Microsoft 365 Copilot app to your mobile phone, and make sure that you found the app that has the M365 logo, because there is the Copilot app to your phones with only the Copilot logo, and that is the private or the consumer version. What will happen if you try to log in to the consumer app is with your enterprise account, it will say, hey, you need to download this app instead. So it will help you. But once you have downloaded the app, you just press on this speak button, and then you start to speak to her. You can also increase the speed of her speech. I'm not a very patient woman, so I like to have it sped up. And you can also choose to have it transcribed so you can read what she says as well. Here is that one. And what I like about this mode, well, first of all, you can also, okay, let's start over. What I like about this mode is that she acts exactly as an assistant, meaning that you can interrupt her and you can start asking something else from your schedule, from your mail, from your files, anything within the Microsoft 365 platform. And I use her if I'm on my way to a meeting. I start asking her about the meeting, the client I'm supposed to meet, if there's something that I need to mentally to prepare myself with before the meeting. And I've also used her as a brain dump, a place in which I can hand over all of my uncategorized thoughts, and she will help me conclude, categorize, and make something out of it. For example, if I hypothetically would have a tough client meeting, I can just close down the computer. I can go out into the forest with my Copilot, with my Aya in hand, and I can say, hey, Aya, now you're going to listen to my brain dump. I've had a really tough meeting and I want you to help me to categorize all my thoughts into something that I can send to the client afterwards. Don't interrupt me, and I'm going to say when I'm finished, right? And then I can say everything. And I was in this meeting, and then the person said, and then the person said, and I can be this unfiltered me, which can be nice from time to time. And then when I come back from the forest, I can see that in my Copilot chat with my conversations, I have a prepared message that I can just send to the client. Very nice. Instead of all of those times when I was sitting writing, not sending now, cooling down, editing, not writing, not sending now, etc. Then she can help me be diplomatic. So that's been a nice way for me to handle my my emotions sometimes. And next, we're gonna give Aya the role as our time guardian. Because did you know that the latest work trend index states that 60% of all meetings are ad hoc, meaning that they are not scheduled in beforehand. And the amount of Teams meeting has tripled in amount since 2020. And an easy way to start to do something with these figures is to be more conscious around how much time we spend in meetings and take help from Copilot to choose the most important ones. So I have this prompt. Analyze my calendar for the next week and review each meeting individually. For every meeting, tell me the importance. Is the meeting critical for my role or deliverables? Why should I attend or skip? I want to know the reasoning behind this. The recommendation. Suggest if I can skip it to free up time for focused work. And also I ask her to be strict and prioritize freeing up time for my to-dos. And at the end, summarize the total time I could save if I follow her recommendations, and a short list of most skippable meetings. I don't know if that's a word, it is now. And then use a clear table format with these columns. So what happens next? I'm going to put this into Aya. she starts doing all this work. She starts to reason. She starts to see, and then she gives me this table that I wanted, that I can look through. And as you see, it says surname. Oh, it's mostly Swedish as well. It's a very big name, but I try to anonymize it as good as I can, since this is my actual schedule. So if she can scroll down, and then I get why these calls should be skipped or not skipped. And then in the end, she gives me also a summary. Oh, she didn't there. Okay, yeah. Try the prompt for yourself to see if it helps. And Aya is also very good at stepping in to take different characters and roles. And you can use her also as a smart coach, for example, or even as your digital personal trainer if you need to get an extra boost before a run race or whatever. I see things happening in the chat, and I can't really focus because I think it's so exciting. Yeah, okay. I'll leave it for now. I know that Daniel is here, keeping an eye on the chat. So she can be your smart coach. So use this prompt. You tell her, you should act as my professional coach. Your goal is to help me define meaningful work-related goals for 2026 and ensure that they are smart, because we want them to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And I also ask her to ask me one reflective question at a time. This was also something that Peter talked about. Ask Copilot to interview you so that the Copilot gets the information it needs. And I also I want her to wait for my response before asking the next question. Because if I get 10 questions at once, I'm so overwhelmed that I wouldn't even start thinking about question number 2. I will probably only answer to question number 1. So therefore, I always wanted to I always want her to give me the questions one at a time. And when I identify a goal, guide me to reformulate it to a smart format. And I also asked her to use a supportive and conversational tone like a real coach. So what happens is here, I ask her to be my professional coach. And then my goal for this prompt is to be a better presenter. So she asked me, well, what is a better presenter to you? So I want to have engaging talks with good content. And I say, well, what would make you feel confident? Well, audience feedback, no one falling asleep. Now I can't see if anybody's falling asleep. Maybe some good questions afterwards could be something that I want to know. And also how often. I want to do one per month. And then she says, well, a measurable target. We need to have that as well. And then she gives me a suggestion. So the specific thing, yeah, and she also gives me a roadmap in order so that I can help myself to pursue these goals. And when we achieve a desired goal, serotonin is released, and serotonin creates a sense of happiness and joy. And this positive reinforcement helps us feel more satisfied with our accomplishments and motivates us to pursue further goals. And by seeing the list here with the actionable items, it actually triggers the dopamine in my brain, which says that, okay, if I do these step by step, instead of looking at the big goal that I want to achieve, that it shows me that if I go through these steps, I will get the goal in the end. And this gets me motivated and to actually do the things on the list. So please try.
One question in the chat. Is Aya your general Copilot chat, or did you make anything special to it, or is it a dedicated agent that she works that way?
Oh, very good question. No, Aya is the general Copilot chat. The one you find at office.com or in Teams or whatever. So she's the normal one, the generalist. Good question. Oh, but please try this smart coach prompt whenever. Do we have any more questions, Daniel?
only a few on specific prompts, but since you're going to share the slides afterwards, I think it's easier just to copy and paste in from the slides probably directly.
Yeah, I can fix it in some good manner for you guys. So I just said something about serotonin and what it does, and actually Aya can help me to feel like I'm on track on everything that I do, and she can also give me a boost to raise my confidence. Because let's do a quick poll here with like a thumbs up. How many of you have ever felt Friday afternoon that what did I actually produce this week? Did I actually do something good because of all the things that happened? Thumbs up if you ever felt like that on a Friday afternoon. Yeah. And it's not something strange that we feel like that, because actually the speed is like 200 kilometers per hour right now. So that's not strange. But what's good is that Aya, she's actually with me the whole week. She's with me in my meetings. She's with me in all my Teams chats. She knows exactly how my week has been. So what I do is that I ask her to summarize my week by reviewing team chats, email channel conversations, and meetings. And I wanted to highlight my key successes and achievements and present them in a positive, encouraging tone so that I can reflect on my progress and head into the weekend feeling accomplished. If I'm in a good mood, I can also ask her to present them in a roast, or present them as if some president with orange hair would tell me that I've been doing something good if I want to have a laugh or something like that. So this is how you want it to be packaged. And with this boost, I get reminded of all the good things that I've done, and this increases the serotonin in my body. And serotonin is, as I said, it's what boosts you. It's what's help you feel accomplished, and it also boosts your self-confidence and makes you feel more accomplished with yourself. And it also, and this is the gold bullet, it also helps you handle cortisol. Just gonna pause that one. It helps when you have increased serotonin. That helps your body to handle cortisol. And cortisol is the stress hormone when we get like all sped up. And there's nothing dangerous with cortisol, but if we have too much for too long time, that's not too good. So therefore, this serotonin boost actually helps us handle that. And a little bonus tip here is also, if you enter this prompt into the Copilot chat, into your IS, and you hover over the original prompt, you see that little clock over there. You can actually schedule this prompt. So what I've done is that I've scheduled it for every Friday at 3 p.m., for example. And then you can choose if you want an email when the response is ready, or you will get like number 1 in the Copilot chat. So try this, and I will promise you that you will feel much better before taking the weekend. Good, and you have probably heard that laughter prolongs life. And with this prompt, you can activate the Copilot memory. So go to the Copilot chat or to your IS and say, remember that I want you to end every answer you give me with a joke related to the topic of my question. Please save this as part of my profile memory, so you always do this automatically, no matter what I ask. So when entering that prompt, the memory is updated. You see this one, the memory updated. That means that she has remembered this. And you can find all your memories by clicking on that, or at the 3 dots in the top right corners is all your memories. So what have happened now is that I've instructed Copilot to end every of its answer with a joke, and you will see it in action further down in this session. The jokes are very dad jokes style, depending on the subject that I ask it, but it can be pretty funny. And other good things you can make Copilot remember is, remember that you should act like my junior assistant, which means that I want you to ask an extra question rather than guessing what I want, for example. Or I can say, remember that your name is Aya from now on, and you should refer to me as Queen Copilot, for example. Or remember that whenever I just add a word or a sentence that is not a question, that is your cue to translate it to English. Or another way to use the memory could be, remember that I want you to give me a suggestion of how I could have improved my prompt, so I will be a better prompter. Which means that in the bottom of every answer, you get a little text that says, hey, I would have given you an even better answer if you just added this to your prompt, for example. So start using the memory if you haven't already. So now we have hopefully gotten a hold of your notification, created goals, and we have a scheduled prompt that tells us that we've done good things, and we even make it possible for more laughter in the workday. So we've given ourselves some oxygen. So now move on to the team. And I don't know why I always say work trend. Yeah, it is work trend, not world trend. That's what I usually say. So the work trend index says that we have tripled the amounts of meetings since 2020, which is a lot. And if you look at your schedule, how many of these meetings do you honestly think is valuable? Well, this is where I want to plant a seed of inspiration to some powerful prompts that could help your meetings become more valuable and effective for your team. And these prompts are made during a meeting in the Copilot chat that corresponds to that meeting. And remember that you either need to activate the Copilot, somebody referred to this as the cowboy hat, but you need to press on this in the beginning of the meeting for it to transcribe during the meeting. If you do it like that, when the meeting ends, the transcription is gone, okay? Soon I saw in the roadmap that we will also have AI summarized meeting notes on this temporary transcript, but not the whole transcript. So this is like, if you don't want to save it forever, you can use this. If you want to save it forever, not forever, but you know what I mean. How long is your deal period, your policies? But if you want to save it and be able to ask Copilot afterwards, or your IS, you need to press more, record, and transcribe. Either record the meeting or record the transcription, okay? Because if you have to do one of these, because if you don't do this and then you press on the Copilot cowboy hat when the meeting is almost done, it will not get any intel, give you any intel on the meeting. So that's important first. So when you have meetings, I'm going to show you some prompts that you can use during the meeting, because I've noticed among the users that I meet that one almost always use Copilot afterwards instead of during the meeting, and actually it's very powerful during the meeting. So therefore, I want you to think about this. So in meetings, at least I attend meetings sometimes when there's normally it's just a few number of people that have loud opinions that get heard when decision is being made. And then you can try this prompt during the meeting just in order to make sure that everybody's heard. So show the top 3 speaking voices so far and give me diplomatic phrasing to invite additional perspectives. And that way you don't have to be the one saying, hello, quit talking. I want to hear what Daniel in the corner has to say about this. Then you can give you some, I can give you some phrasing also so that you can say that diplomatically. Another powerful thing that you can use Copilot to is to help you with decision making. You can ask Aya to create a neutral poll question so that you can start a poll directly in the meeting and get everyone to vote. What do we actually think about this matter? And by doing this, you also make it visible for those not in favor of the suggestion, if they are in minority, which might remove some unnecessary complaints. And this is also something that we will do with the help of the facilitator further on. At least I haven't gotten that yet. But you can ask Aya to give you the neutral poll question at least, and then answer, and then make a poll. If you need help to find a path in the middle of the discussion, maybe you should try this prompt. Highlight points of disagreement and propose a both and compromise path. But it's always helpful to get someone else to do these kind of to help you move further in discussions when they strand. That's Swedish, right? When they, yeah, when you don't go, when it doesn't get you anywhere. And this is the great Slayer prompt from when the discussion completely has hit rock bottom. Then you use this prompt into the Copilot chat in the meeting based on everything available in this meeting, the live conversation, meeting transcript, shared files, shared screen, etc. Summarize the pros and cons of the topics that we are discussing. Identify the key arguments for and against each option. Highlight where participants seems aligned and where opinions diverge. Call out any unclear point, missing data or assumptions. Provide a brief decision support analysis with the most relevant considerations for choosing a direction, and present the result in a clear, structured format. Bam, decision solved, right? So try this one. And before you close the meeting, just ask her to draft the follow-up email to participants and stakeholders with next agenda and what we need from you until then. I know there is a draft instructor in Outlook when you're scheduling the agenda creator, but I'm not overly wild about the outcomes yet. So I think this is nice, so that you help Copilot to get a hold of the what we discussed to make sure that we follow up good on the next meeting. Another way to increase social stability in a group, which is what we're doing, is to be attentive if anyone needs help. And here Aya can help me to identify what I can help with. Because honestly, when you have a lot on your own plate, it can be hard to know what help you need. So therefore, if I've noticed that Christine, for example, a colleague of mine, she's had too much to do, maybe her kids were sick, she had problems with her cat, etc., then I can ask Aya to help me, first of all, write an uplifting message to Christine in where I can tell her that I can help her. And I can also ask Aya to go through all mine and Christine's calendar and shared projects to provide concrete examples of where I actually can assist, so that Christine doesn't have to think about that herself. So this is how it looks in action. And the really cool thing is when I have gotten an answer from Christine that she can help me, or that I can help her. Let's move on to the next, because then I can invite her into the discussion that I have with Aya. So this is the same conversation, but here in the top right corner, I have the possibility to turn this into a group chat in Teams. I know that everybody doesn't have this yet, but I hope you will get it in soon. So then a team that, as you saw on that film, I'll go back. This, I also get the question, how many of the messages that I should include to Christine? And then the team or the group chat is created. What happens is that I get to review. First of all, I get to review the response before it gets sent to us, which is good. And with that, make sure that nothing else slips through. But now we both can chat with Aya in the same group chat, and we have the same data that is grounded upon. But please make sure, or not please, but you can still feel safe, because if I have in the previous chat, if I have added some documents, some files or whatever that Christine doesn't have access to, she will not be getting access throughout this, because it's very hard to say safeguards over there, so you don't need to worry. Good. Let's move on. Now we've done the me part, we have done the we part, now the cherry on the top, which will help you stand out as the office superstar. And Aya can help you reflect and celebrate others more meaningfully. Because do you know what happens when you tell someone that they've done a good job? Well, the oxytocin level in you and in the one you're praising rises, which gives it a double effect, both on you, on the person that you're saying that, hey, you're doing a good job. And when it does so, we become more team oriented. And we want to help each other rather, and we tend to listen better to each other if oxytocin is spread amongst us. So therefore, oxytocin in the workplace is something that really makes a difference when it comes to collaboration. So I ask Copilot here, summarize the most positive and impactful accomplishments from this week for each member of my closest team, AI and collaboration. For each person, provide one key achievement or contribution that stood out this week, why this was valuable for the team or project, and also a suggested praise message that I can copy and share to make them feel appreciated. And this is only possible if you have a work out loud culture at your workplace, which we have. We work in channels. Everything is transparent, meaning that I know what my colleagues do. And now Aya can help me to go through this and highlight some great achievements. So what she does is that first she gives me a list of all my colleagues so that I can verify. And then here she refers to me as Queen Caroline. I got that in the memory before. So here is my colleagues, and then she gives me a little teaser if this is how I want it to be presented. And then I just say, yeah, please do this for all of my colleagues. And I can also, when I gotten this, I can make it to a poem to share it to the whole team if I like. So that's a way to spread some good vibes. Speaking of spreading, okay, that sounded weird, but speaking of sharing, you know that sharing is caring. And another way to boost the team's oxytocin is to share something. Because as I said, when we praise someone, this is the same way. If we give something to someone, the oxytocin rises or increases in ourselves and the ones we give something to. So give your colleagues tips from this session, perhaps, or from any other session throughout the day. And the good thing is that you don't even need to write it yourself, because Aya will, of course, help you. So just use this prompt. I have just learned that. Insert what you learned. Please create a short, engaging, and informative post that I can share with my colleagues in our engaged community, because of course you have one, right? An engaged community in which you share your tips and tricks. If not, this is your cue to create one. And I also added that the post should explain the benefit of the feature or tip, include a clear example, be friendly, professional, add relevant emojis for visual appeal. I know I love emojis, but there's also studies showing that we actually read it better when we have emojis, and keep it concise and easy to read. And I've also prepared this prompt for you, because what could possibly be better than sharing a laughter? Why not use this one? I've just learned that I can ask Copilot to end every response with a joke related to my question. Please create a post about this. So what happens is this. I can just copy and paste it to my colleagues so that they also can try it. I guess you're doing it right now, right? You're just posting a lot of tips to your colleagues. Oh, so wait, just a few more minutes, then I'll be ready. Another way to make sure that all your colleagues is feeling seen and valued is by repeatedly ask Aya to search for a colleague that you've spent the least collaboration time with, and to book a one-on-one or a digital coffee with this person. And this is especially important if you're a leader, but it can also be important as a colleague to catch up with your close colleagues. So I just asked her, I want to ensure that I have time to sit down with all my colleagues. Based on chats and meetings from the last few weeks, who have I had the least collaboration with? And she goes through this, and she gives me a list of people that I might that could be good for me to reach out to. And there I got also Queen Caroline's daily joke. Why don't calendars ever get tired? Because they have a lot of dates to keep them going. Yeah, I said, it's dad joke style, but honestly, it brings a smile to my face at least. And that's worth it. So, to summarize how your Miss Moneypenny or Maya can help you being a distraction bouncer. Well, she can help you take control of your notifications in a manner that suits you the most. And if you haven't tried yet, try the assistant mode, okay? To talk to Aya on your way between meetings or to start your day while the coffee is getting brewed. Try to use her as your time guardian, your nice friend that is considerate and careful about your time and makes you reconsider if all those meetings you have in your schedule actually are important. And you can also use her to make sure that you're heading in the right direction. Try her as your smart coach. What is your goal with what you're doing? How can you make it into smaller tasks? Aya is also with you all of the time, meaning that she can give you the serotonin boost every week and you together can celebrate your successes. Make sure that you schedule the prompt every week as a reminder. And she can make every day a little more humorous and give you jokes after every answer. I can promise you that it will give plenty more smiles on your face. You can use her as your meeting whisperer, and I gave you several prompts to try during a meeting to make the meetings more valuable. She can also help you with your team efforts by finding how you can help a colleague that really needs help and also propose how you could help her or him. And she would love to be invited to the dialogue with your colleague, since you now can chat together in a Teams chat. And once we have done all that, there is a little cherry on the top that is needed to become the office superstar. She can help you praise with precision, to give thoughtful words of encouragement to your closest colleagues. And as everyone knows, sharing is caring. So why don't you share some of the prompts that I've shown you today to your colleagues, especially the ones where you can share laughter. And last but not least, the prompts that give you the tools to be a more thoughtful teammate, to make sure that you have good relationship with your colleagues. She can see who you have collaborated with least. And with this said, I've probably missed many, many good prompt tips that could help us even more. So please write a suggestion in the chat if you have one, because sharing is caring. So it will raise your oxytocin, that you will feel good about yourself, and it will help the rest of us in this call. A little bonus tip, because we have some few minutes. If you struggle with prompts, just add the prompt coach agent. I know somebody mentioned it previously as well, because honestly, my prompts in this session, I have not made them myself. I just asked what I wanted to do, and then I asked the prompt coach to improve them. And you find the prompt coach, you go to all agents in the Copilot chat. It's built by Microsoft. You can just add it, and it's a great help if you want to improve your prompting skills. Or you just add this prompt into the Copilot chat. Remember that you should end every answer with a suggestion on how I can have improved the earlier prompt regarding to the GCSE framework. GCSE is goal, context, source, expectations. So it will help you improve from time to time. There, 12:20. Perfect. Thank you for having us, meaning me and Aya. And please add me on LinkedIn if you like these kind of tips and tricks, because I tend to overwhelm my network on LinkedIn with them. But please add me. And also just give me a DM on LinkedIn if you want the pictures afterwards. Thank you.
Perfect. So we have one question from the Q&A from I think Anja. Can you show the Time Guardian slide again after the presentation, please?
Yeah, I can. Let's see where it is. The Time Guardian. It was in the beginning, right? Here is the Time Guardian.
Okay, perfect. Then we have another question. I think it was somewhere in the chat. Is Copilot Studio better as a Copilot in Teams when it comes to fix an agent? Means agent there that will be used for a long time.
That depends on what kind of agent you're building, I think. Maybe you know better, Daniel. I do a lot of agents, but I do the declarative agents in Copilot Studio Lite. So I'm not very involved into the Copilot Studio Full. Maybe you understand the question better, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, The answer is probably you already said it. It depends. Yeah. So I mean, both can be used in Teams. It is more the question, what do you want to do with the agent? If you just want to have like a solid question and answer agent, you don't need to go to Copilot Studio. If you want to have a more complex agent that has more options that can be integrated into M365 and different third parties, then Copilot Studio would be the place to go. Both agents can work in Teams and in those environments. So it is totally depending on what the agent should be able to do, not on what you want to do in Teams.
Yeah, the classic consultant question. It depends.
Yep.
But it really does when it comes to this. So good.
We have another question. Did you use Copilot to create those AYA visuals? I love that.
Yes, I did. The early ones I actually used ChatGPT, but now I use the create function in the Copilot chat. My ChatGPT account is now disabled because I don't use it, but I instead try Claude because Claude is very exciting right now. But yeah, now Copilot can do it.
Yep, absolutely. The create experience, just one comment on that, if you don't mind. Microsoft just has introduced a new image generating model. Microsoft, I think it's My Image 2 or My Image 3. And this has instantly ranked, I think, on number 3 of the best image generating models, and it will also ship to Create Experience. So, of course, Nano Banana is still on number 1. So still the best image creation model that will be not available in Copilot because it's from Google. Yeah, so if what I want to say, with the Create Experience, you get very, very, very good image creation possibilities, and with the paid version, even with all the branding guidelines, so you can distribute brand kits over the whole company, so everyone uses the same style and stuff. So that is really, really cool. So definitely a tip to create or to have a look on Create Experience. It's definitely
yes, and the Create Experience is here. And I also noticed that if you just choose you don't need to upload image again to recreate it. You can just edit it because everything is saved here as well. So it's it's very easy nowadays to do these kind of images.
Yep, that is definitely a very, very cool tip to use the Create Experience.
Cool.
Okay.
Do we have something else, or should I end up, because I really want to end with this one. Sorry. There. I love this.